Good morning. Welcome to the Stellies man. Now I've made a little video a few days ago just to introduce myself and this platform. And now I've got the first two segments. It's going to be a short video, just a bit of information that I've come up with. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but be sure to subscribe, like, and leave your valued comments. Your opinion matters on this platform. So Stellenbosch FC have announced the release of 7 players from the Cape DStv Premiership Club ahead of next season. And I don't know much of the history, so like I said in that video, I'm still learning the history and the makeup of Stellenbosch FC. But as we go along, I will pick it up and I will get, obviously, the comments that I get from the viewers will also give me an understanding as to what and where and how. Now, the couple of names that has popped up for of the 7 that are leaving the club, let me just see here. A club statement read Bombay, Keegan Poole, Solomon Letsuhenyo, Solly Kunyedi, Lance Weaver, Jean Carlos Ortiz, and Glenn Hahn will all part ways with Stellenbosch FC at the end of the season following an expiry of their respective contracts. Now I think two of those players are goalkeepers, which is I think Keegan Poole and Solomon Letsuhenyo, something like that. I think I'm speaking under correction. So those are the guys that are on their way out of the club. And also earlier on I read that Steve Barker is obviously looking into get some guys in, so it makes sense for you to obviously clear out first and maybe getting some new players, but to balance your books off, obviously I think the requirement is to obviously sell and obviously replace. So depending on the sales, like you say, it says there an expiry of the respective contracts. So that's 7 contracts that are expired, which means they probably go for free. But then you have a guy like what's his name, Mendieta. It was linked to Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando, but I think it is Mamelodi Sundowns who beat Chiefs and Pirates to Mendieta's signature. And it says in the report, it was recently reported that Sundowns are preparing to part ways with the midfielder Hassim Domingo, having failed to agree terms with him on a new deal, and now moving as swiftly and purposefully as they are known to. The Brazilians went straight to Stellenbosch to gauge the possibility of a deal for their key man. Now, surely Steve Barker has somebody in mind if he had to let go of his talisman. There's the word talisman, and this is the talisman. So yeah, I think you should have somebody in mind, obviously, because if you're going to let go of your number 10, surely you're going to have to get somebody in that position. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with little depth. And as we know, depth in any football competition, or rather for any team sport, you need to have that depth in order to maintain success in that particular league and standings and how the competition obviously goes. Now, Stellenbosch FC has got a couple of youngsters coming through the Diskies team. I'm speaking under correction, so I'm hoping to see the homegrown and the grassroots guys coming through as Steve Barker will improve on them. So it's always good to see that the young boys of our local areas and even those that stand the chance to go for trials and get drafted into a possible position in the places in areas that are like I said, the 7 players that are leaving because of expiring contracts. So it'd be interesting to see what Steve Barker have up his sleeve, and of course that is the 2 segments that I want to just touch on the small and short video. Is that who is the players that going to be replace those guys? I've mentioned the 7 players, which is 2 goalkeepers and I think and a couple of infield players, which is Reed Bombay, Keegan Poole, Solomon Letsuenyo, Solly Kunyedi, Lance Weaver, Jean Carlos Ortiz, and Glenn Hahn. In fact, Glenn Hahn is the other goalkeeper, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and are all saying goodbye to the club. So those are the 7 guys that are leaving, and it'd be interesting to see who Mr. Barker has and what he has up his sleeve to obviously fulfill and replace those guys. If it's guys from the academy, if it's players that are coming in from other teams, and I'm sure there's so many potential out there, and of course losing Junior Mendieta is also one of the things that you want to look at and keep an eye on. Who's going to replace him as the talisman? Is there somebody already in? Is there somebody already earmarked? Who's that person going to be? Because I mean, if Chiefs, the top guns in the country like Sundowns, Chiefs, Pirates, that had the ear or their eyes on these guys, and it's mentioned that Kanyisa Mayo is also on their radar from our neighbors down in Cape Town. So it's going to be interesting to see how the transfer window, and it's the first time, guys, that I report on transfers in South Africa. I've always seen what is happening, and I've spoken to a couple of ex professionals in our country, guys that played for Sundowns, Santos, guys that played for Hellenic, that has given me some insight as to how these things work. The principle obviously stays the same, but for local transfers, it's always interesting to see how the makeup of these transfer deals are going. What is the amounts that these clubs are willing to pay for the talent? And then of course I'm very, very happy to see and hear that Mr. Reyners, Ikram Reyners, has been called up to Bafana. I'm not sure if he played yesterday. I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I think if he did play, I'd like to see how he performed in the Bafana shirt. And it's always nice to get that call up. I mean, that was in May already that has been announced that he has got called up for Bafana. So all the best to Ikram Reyners from the club Stellenbosch, and I'm hoping to see more youngsters coming through that can obviously be called up and represent Bafana, because I mean, we all know Bafana has been poor of late for the last couple of years. So yeah, well done to Junior Mendieta. We wish him all the luck at Sundowns, and of course those 7 guys that are leaving, good luck to them, and I hope they have endeavors and aspirations as to where and what they're going to do in the next journey. So again, press the like, share the video, and of course subscribe, because you have watched the Stellies man. All the best, enjoy.